What is the origin story of the business?
I originally started a supplement company with the purpose of making a small enough batch for myself. I had the intention of fighting in Pride. So I made it for strictly my own personal use and some fighters that I was training with, many of who actually went to the UFC in Pride. At the same time, I had 5 supplement stores and I was selling everybody else's products. So I learned throughout the industry that companies weren't actually legit as to what they were putting in their products. This was like back in the late 80s. A lot of products were sold on being extremely overhyped and with very little integrity as to what was in the products. So I took it upon myself. I got as best of an education as I could in terms of what would work for sports performance. I went to a dairy farm in Ontario and I got whey protein and I started developing my own line. So originally it was just for myself and for some fighters. Then I'm like, well, I have these supplement stores. I'm going to put it in the supplement stores. And it sold very well. People were quite happy with the taste and the results and everything else. And this was the purest shit you could get. I mean, there was no fairy dusting of anything. I was naive into thinking that people were honest in what they were putting in the products. I had no knowledge of the fuckery that was going on. So my margins probably weren't what they weren't supposed to be. And also because I was only producing in small enough batches as opposed to these companies that had like massive run sizes. But again, it wasn't for the reason of making money. It was strictly for the purpose of putting out a product that was legit and people could expect results from. So I had the aspirations of taking the line a little further. I put it into a few supplement stores in the area, and then I went to one of Canada's biggest distributors, and I'm like, would you be interested in my line? And they sort of played me along and they delayed me and meetings were canceled and everything else. I finally got in to see them. I introduced them to the line. I told them what was in the products and the reasons why the ingredients were in the products. And they were like, yeah, it's a great line. How many stores are you selling to? And I said, fuck, maybe 10. And they were unimpressed. They're not going to, put their team of sales reps behind a brand. So I had to find a big fish for them. And by fate, I ended up meeting a couple of friends that worked in GNC. They made the introduction to head office and they took the attitude, well, put your money where your mouth is. If your brand is so good, I want you to fill 5 stores for free. If it sells well, then we'll continue this discussion. So I sold my pro shops. I took all the money I invested into developing enough inventory to fill 5 stores, like fill 5 stores with multiple units. So I put my balls on the line. I threw my hat over the fence. And I remember the day specifically. I was fighting and I was waiting for the call. I left my ringer on and my phone rang. I left the fight, went to my phone, and it was, I believe, the vice president or the president of GNC Canada. And they're like, we've never had a line test as well as yours. We'll take your line. How do you plan on selling to all our stores? And I'm like, fuck, let me get back to you. So I went back to my distributor and I said, okay, I have GNC that's willing to take the entire line. You're going to take my line and you're going to distribute it for me. They're like, we're going to take your line. I went back to GNC and I said, I have a distributor that will facilitate the distribution to all your stores. You're going to take my line. And they're like, we're going to take your line. And that's how it happened.
People see the growth and success of a company like Perfect Sports and think it was easy. Was it?
I've heard that a lot recently, and it's funny because that is the furthest thing from the truth. I had just gotten divorced. I was living in my sister's basement. I was broke as fuck, and nothing was handed to me. And I firmly believe in life, you get what you take. And I've heard people, even in the industry, supplement stores, like, oh, Bruce, came from money, or, Bruce has an investor. Bruce had shit. Bruce fucking grew by inches and inches. And I've struggled and grinded until I got to the point where I had good people coming to me. In the beginning, there was already established brands in Canada, and it wasn't like, oh, fuck, let's go work for Bruce. He's a cool dude. No, I was like, fuck no. So, I had to get the brand to a position of notoriety that the big hitters from other supplement companies would leave where they were and come to me. And that's how it happened. But nothing was given to me.
What were some of the early successes?
Some of the successes, I don't know, I took everything as a success. I mean, when you come from nothing, everything I took gratitude in. And it wasn't, to me, it's not the success that you celebrate. It's the setbacks that you overcome that you celebrate. And I mean, diesel is the #1 selling protein in Canada, and that's okay. But now I want diesel to be the #1 selling protein in the world. And in my mind, I'm already there. Just like anything that I do, I'm not here, I'm there. And then reality catches up with you. What you put out into the universe, your belief, the universe is like, fuck, this guy believes this is gonna happen, it's gotta happen. And that is what I think is a superpower for everybody. The term "be great," which is our catchphrase, it's everything I believe in, because everybody has that potential for being magnificent. And what I don't understand is, if you have that ability to be great, why not? Like, it's in you. You can fucking do it. So just do it. Be great.
What were some of the biggest hurdles that you encountered, and how did you deal with it?
Hurdles, many. One of the worst days that I had, I believe it was 2004, and Health Canada had recalled ephedrine. And I had the #1 selling product at the time that was loaded with ephedrine. And in one day, I went from being a millionaire to being personally in debt for $750,000. And it's not like I could claim bankruptcy and fuck everybody. Like, I owed the government money, I owed the banks money, and they're not gonna let you go. I had no choice but to make it work. Like, when you're that far under the gun, you fucking either die or you rise up, get up, keep fighting, and get what you want. So there's always been fights. There's the fight against bigger companies. There's the fight of, in the beginning, I had the products manufactured by someone else. So now you're under their time frame. I need the product. Fuck you. You gotta wait. You know, I had a distribution company. We need your products. I don't have products. I'm trying to get it made. So that was why, ultimately, at one point, I took on the responsibility of doing our own manufacturing. And that represented a ton of problems. You know, I remember in the beginning, the first few batches, we fucked up the formula. And I remember specifically, it was the chocolate peanut butter, and it was horrible. And everybody, all the competition was like, yes, he fucked up. He's gonna fuck this up. Any setback that occurs, you have to make the decision just to get up and keep fighting. So when that bankruptcy issue happened, that was a really, really bad time. And I remember the day specifically because I went to go see a bankruptcy lawyer, and I hadn't had a haircut in a while, and I had this fucking fro, and I'm like, I need a haircut. So I went, I couldn't afford a good haircut. Now understand, I went from being a millionaire wearing Armani suits, driving sports cars, to going back to where I really was with eating those noodle soups and cans of tuna again. So that, you know, at that point, it's not only your ego is taking a kick. So I went to the bankruptcy lawyer, and I gave him all the details of what was going on and everything, and he's like, you're fucked. And I'm like, well, how do I get out of this? And he said, win the lottery. He's like, could you even afford to pay me? And so the bankruptcy lawyer said, you're fucked. And that, like, again, you're at the bottom. You're like, you can't get any lower than where I was. So what do? Get up, man. Get up, keep fighting.
Perfect Sports has become a major success. So what was the key turning point?
Because I always believe in being good to people, right? I've never understood the mindset of fucking anybody, because at some point they're gonna be like, well, I don't want to deal with you any longer. Or, you know, at the end result, if you cheat the customer, you're only going to be able to do that for so long, and then they're going to stop buying, and then the store is going to stop buying because the customers aren't buying, and then I'm out of business. So I believe that you have to conduct yourself with honor and respect. And diesel, I will put that product against any product in the market. It is simply the best protein available. And now, because we have such a killer team at Perfect, that we take that same mindset for every product that we develop now. It's no longer just, okay, we need a pre-workout, let's do a pre-workout. No, let's put out the best fucking pre-workout there is. And that's what we do. Every product that Perfect puts out is the best.
Where did your passion for training and the martial arts originate?
When I was 15, my father took me and my family to a drive-in movie, and it was a movie called Happy Birthday to Me. And back in the 80s, it was very popular for those slasher flicks, right? And I saw the movie, and it was just some guy, some psychopath, randomly killing people, and it tripped me out. I'm like, holy fuck, I can't be a victim like that. And at the next day, I went to my dad. I'm like, I need to start taking karate. So at 15, and I'm 54. I've been training in martial arts all my life.
What does honor mean to you, and how does that manifest itself within your life and within the business?
One of the things that has been happening to me lately is that people have come up to me and said, you know, you inspire me or you motivate me. And that is a huge compliment. And I never really understood that. I've never been given that gift before. So if people are going to look up to you and they're going to, you know, ask your advice about how they can better their life, then you need to be a figurehead. You need to be a man of integrity and honor in order to justifiably be worthy of that gift that they've given you. So I think in life, if you do good, then the universe will be good to you in kind. One person said to me a long time ago, from whom much is given, much is expected. And I've been blessed in the way life has treated me. So accordingly, I need to make sure that I am good to the people, not with the reason or, you know, for expectations of getting it back. You need to be good to people because life has been good to me. And I sort of conduct myself in all aspects of my life that way. In business, be good to your customer, be good to all your customers. For people, you know, you don't know what kind of battles people are fighting. So be kind, right? And unless they're assholes, and then fuck them up. But just be good, man. Like, be good to people.
The last 2 years have been hard on business. What did Perfect Sports do, and how has that worked out?
One of my favorite books is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And there's a quote from the book saying, when others are strong, appear weak. When you're weak, appear strong. And when the pandemic hit, it just destroyed every aspect of every industry. And at that point, we had a meeting, and I'm like, we need to come out balls deep. We need to just appear to be the strongest company there is, and we doubled down on everything. We doubled our advertising. And because of that, while other people were having, say, supply chain issues, or they weren't marketing as much, or they weren't interacting with their customers as much, we grew. The last 2 years have unfortunately been hard for a lot of people, and we have grown beyond our expectations.
Present day, what are the successes that Perfect Sports has had as a company, and what are you most proud of?
I'm proud that we're putting out the best fucking products in the world. And I'm proud of the team that we've put together. I'm proud of the fact that other companies, their employees want to come to Perfect. I really dig the fact that we are crushing the competition. You know, it's a common joke at Perfect about how competition is good, and, you know, we learned, I've never been in that mindset. They are the enemy. We need to beat them. If they would all go out of business tomorrow, I'd be happy about it. Because my drive for excellence isn't based on beating them. The drive for excellence at Perfect is based on giving the very best to the consumer, to our customer. I mean, because they are relying on you for meeting their goals, getting in better shape, losing weight, everything. And that is a huge responsibility to you. So if they are giving that trust to you, we have to give it back to them. So my drive for being the best isn't simply based on money or fame, because I'm past the money now. Like the money is coming. We're doing extremely well. The fame is good. I fucking love that. I have a huge ego. but it's truly about the consumer. I want them to win. I want them to be happy with their decision that they bought Perfect Sports that day.
How do you balance your training with the business?
I train a lot, that's just true, but I have an incredible team at Perfect Sports. Everybody there shares the same mindset as I do, so it's because of them, and I've been grateful for the fact that I had the intelligence to put together such a team that works intrinsically together. So we've had, like I said in the beginning, we've had employees from other companies leave their company and come to Perfect because we are the brand to beat. And I am grateful every day for the family unit and the team that Perfect Sports has. And just because of them, it allows me to go train all the time. It's honestly because of them that I get to sit here in front of you today.
One of the things that you have said is the importance of building a strong vision for the future and then manifesting that vision. How does your vision for the future become reality?
I've always believed that the universe will give you what you put out there. So, and I don't know how I developed this, and it's funny because now I read a lot of motivational books, and I hear that philosophy. I'm like, fuck, I've been doing this all my life. And so I've always believed that you need to believe something is already a done deal. In developing a product or anything in life, the position of a product, the position of the business, things that you want to acquire in your life, skills you want to acquire, material things that you want to obtain, relationships you want to build. In my mind, it's already done. And so I relax because I know that it's going to happen for me. And somebody has once said to me, well, what if it doesn't happen? And then I rely on the fact that, well, if it didn't happen, that means the universe saved my ass because that particular thing I wanted would have been contrary to the big picture for me. So I don't sweat the small stuff. If something doesn't happen, so be it. And I believe with 100% certainty that what I want, I'm going to get.
How important is a never say die attitude?
I think a never say die attitude is what separates the winners from the masses. And that's not to denigrate people. It goes back to my be great attitude. You have that ability. You have that ability to say never say die. You have that ability to say I'm going to be fucking awesome. And it's just a decision that you need to make. You know what? Today is going to be a fucking great day. Today I'm going to make some moves to put me in the position that I want to be in. You know, back when I was studying karate, we used to have a class called an endurathon. It was 24 hours of training and no sleep. You got a few sessions to have a quick bite. I believe it was 15 minutes. And it wasn't so much the physical training that hones your blade. It's the mental attitude about, I'm fucking tired. 2, 3 in the morning. I'm like, dude, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. And that grind, it's the same way when I box now, when I'll train with my coach. You know, I've expected a certain amount of rounds, and then he's like, one more round. And then he pummels your head like a drum. And you just want it to end. You just want the shit to stop. And what do? You either fucking take a knee, lie down, or you grind it out, and you push through, and you come through on the other end. On the other end of fear is heaven.
Perfect Sports has been on a strong growth curve. What has surprised you the most about how the business has grown?
Nothing has surprised me. I fully expected this. And it's only going to get better. Like I see the future. I'm living in the future where we're at Star Wars episode 15 and Marvel movies are every week. We have a lot of things in development. So I can't rely on just the fact that in my mind it's already a done deal. We have so many things cooking right now, new products, a training facility for athletes, a magazine we're bringing out shortly. We're going to take over. We're taking no prisoners. So, Perfect Sports will be the #1 brand in the world, and I won't even entertain any other idea of that not being true.
Perfect Sports has a lot of athletes and ambassadors. How does Perfect Sports attract the best talent to the roster?
Because people share in the vision. People, that be great attitude, people embrace it. And I think people that know me see me as being real. I'm not some poser. I walk the talk. And I think people, that resonates with people. If I was some jerk off that really didn't get behind their words or really didn't believe in the Be Great philosophy, people would see me as a poser, a paper tiger, and we're attracting the best athletes in the world right now.
You've said that inspiring others to be great through your training and providing the best supplements is a major force behind what drives you. What advice would you give to people who are trying to achieve their highest potential?
Do it. Just people need to be realistic as to where they stand today. I'm here. I want to be here. Then they need to come up with a game plan to get from getting to point A to point B. And the problem with a lot of people is they stop at the word start. You need to grind it out. Life is going to fuck you. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be mistakes. I've made costly mistakes, hundreds of thousands of dollars in mistakes. But again, it goes back to my philosophy. Get up, keep going. So if somebody wants something in their life, they need to have an accurate picture as to what it is they truly want. And when they've got that picture in their head, then they have to believe that it's going to happen. They have to come up with a plan about how to get it, and they have to be ready to, make movements to get around the setbacks and keep going to the goal. And it may take however long it takes, but as long as you keep moving forward, you will get that goal. Last question. What is your plan for the future? Perfect Sports is going to be the #1 supplement brand in the world. I've already seen it.